I have a will, there's a way. There's nothing in me that can't be figured out.
Yep.
That's the mentality I carry, just because of all the bumps, bruises, and all the stuff I've learned on the way up. It's like a lot of my failure was due to my own procrastination too.
Okay, we got another episode of Forged in the Field here. Today is Al Watkins. He is the COO here at Crop Fertility Services. He is my right hand, and it's been a pleasure, to say the least, to work with you. And kind of as we do here with Forged in the Field, just really want to talk about who we are, where we've been, and what we're up to now, and where we're going, and our real forging moments along the way. And
there's always going to be forged moments every day.
never changes. That's one thing that stays consistent.
Sometimes we even make our own forge.
Guilty.
In our own heads.
Yep. I think about sometimes when we first kind of got to know each other, we would spend quite literally hours on the phone talking about mindset.
Yep.
Talk about how coaching impacted our leadership.
Mm-hmm.
And faith and how that impacts.
Yep.
And that brings us all the way back to, even that was just 2 years ago. But we talk a lot about, like, geez, it feels like it's all just coming together really fast my whole life.
The glue, the puzzles are finally falling together, and the glue fitting. The coaching, the God, everything. Life is a journey. We're still on it, but life has taught me a lot of lessons over the years. One, coaching kids taught a lot of how even undisciplined I was. Treat them like you want to be treated. And the stuff that comes out of kids' mouth too, right? You just sit there and smile, right? And the best thing that kids do for all of us is keep it light.
Yeah.
And that's hard to do. And you've noticed I keep things light at work.
Oh yeah. Yep.
But I actually learned that from my mom.
Okay.
The years of grieving deaths. Just keep it light. Talk about it. Have fun.
Mm-hmm.
Don't take anything for granted. And have fun while you're doing it. Even if it's bad, still have fun doing bad shit.
Yeah. The undesirable.
Yeah. But young on up, I've always been gritty, always been competitive. I think that's something that surprised the hell out of you.
I hadn't seen competitiveness used so productively. Correct. It was always a me versus you instead of like you spun it to a we, and I had never seen that.
Well, that's the problem with a lot of people nowadays. They only worry about themselves.
Yeah.
And my competitiveness is for everybody. I want everybody to win.
Mm-hmm.
And when I have that mindset, it's crazy what can be done. I mean, you've seen in our sales, Ron's gone from fear mode to I can sell almost anything. I talk like Randy Moss here, but I took the top off the defense for him.
Yeah.
The believability that I give people in the confidence that I have, and just the execution of my confidence. Self-talk matters, right? Like how you walk into a room matters. I don't know what it is in my head, but I can calculate something with how a person is within seconds.
I
can read the room in seconds. I know who I'm dealing with within 5 minutes of a discussion, typically. If they're one way or two way, or if they're four for working with us or for working for themselves.
Sure.
But just the journey to get to that was a lot of failure. I mean, I started working out of right in high school at hog barns and facilities, and of course, you get paid on bonus structure. And I mean, in 1999, I think my wage was $9.80. Well, by God, if I didn't work 80 hours a week, not in a 2-week period,
Yep.
I had a couple kids at that time. I already had 2 kids in 99. Sorry, I had 1 kid in 99. The second one was on the way. But I had these kids to provide for, and it was, sometimes when you're married, they take it as mistaken as you don't want to be home. But in a guy's sense, it's I'm trying to provide.
Yeah.
And that's all he really wants to do. And later in marriage, my wife finally gets it and stuff, but it takes a lot of grit to keep going when you're younger, and just where we've come with wages and jobs. And I've started a pressure washing business. I've sold feed. I've been a supervisor for hog sites. I was the guy that go get 10% better feed efficiency for 180 sites. Go talk to, I'm 22 years old and I'm talking to 60-some-year-old guys telling them how to do their job.
Yeah. Tell a farmer what to do, right?
It was the time of, everybody used to raise their own hogs, but now it's the time of all leased buildings. So they only own the buildings. It was somebody else's hogs. And I remember saying this to one of the first guys there, it's great that you don't want to listen to me, but you don't even own your own hogs anymore, so you might want to listen to me. And that guy looked at me, he goes, "You're just an asshole." And I went, "Yeah, well, some days we have to be, right?"
Yep.
And then I came back. I remember my boss, Gary Lampka, greatest boss I've ever had. His favorite phrase was, if that's the worst thing that happens today, you got to be in the shade, right? So I get back to the office and I tell him what happened, and he goes, "Well, I mean, you got to be a nice asshole. Figure out how to be a nice asshole." I really didn't know what that phrase really meant until a couple years later. And then I'm like, okay, I still get what I need to get done. I'm firm with what I say. And you just stick to what you have to do and don't stray from the truth. Don't stray from being embedded into personal reasons for whatever you're trying to get done. But after that, I started my own business, pressure washing. And that was a game changer as far as scalability. I was all over in Iowa, Minnesota. I did a lot of pressure washing. Then I got into
traveling a lot.
Yeah, day-to-day stuff, not overnight. There was a little bit of overnight stuff, but not a lot. I literally, our first 1,000-head barn, it took us 10 hours to wash.
Okay.
And in a full day, right, for us. And I scaled it to doing 5 of those in a day, in an 8-hour day. So the scalability of trying to do that, and I was working with bigger companies like Swine Vet Center, and those guys had bigger sites. I did some Wakefield sites. I actually grew pigs for Wakefield later in my years. So just doing some of that, and I mean, when you're doing pressure washing, I mean, you don't get the cream of the crop for guys helping you. And I don't mean that in a bad way, guys, if you do listen to this. But what was talked about a lot was we had fun doing it. Yeah. They really didn't care how messy the job or crappy the job or shitty the job was.
Yeah, it doesn't miss anywhere in you. Look at the splashback.
Correct. Yep. I mean, you wear goggles and you have coon eyes, right?
Yep.
It's not a job that's a very fun job. So just having camaraderie with guys like that, and then that kind of fizzled out. Just hard to find labor, and I really my kids got older, and I'm like, you know what? I want to be home for them. And so I went to work just for a guy that had pigs for Wakefield pork. It was 12,000 head of nursery space. I did that for 8 years. But I was able, in those 8 years, I was able to, and I took a pay cut to do it, but I was around all 4 of my kids, and I got to coach them, mentor them, show them what work was on the farm. My father-in-law also farmed cropland, so I was able to help with that when I could. A lot of sports, 3 boys, 1 girl. I mean, I remember having 5 different events of baseball and softball one day.
That's that's a lot of baseball and softball.
Yeah. So I mean, I remember this was just baseball. My daughter didn't have anything going on, but we were in school ball and travel ball, and there was an overlap at the end of May, so you were in both. And I remember literally coaching my 10-year-old son in Norwood. My son Judd's game was rained out in some other town. They moved the game to another town. We got done with that game, the 10-year-old game. I'm like, oh, we might as well go watch Judd's game. I think it was in Mayer. So Norwood to Mayer was not bad. And we get done with that. My son Jake's game was supposed to be at 7. It's delayed. They actually didn't start till 7 or 10 o'clock at night in Waconia. So I watched baseball literally from 4:30 to about 12:30 at night, or coached it. And I remember driving home with it, my wife going, well, we'll never be able to watch all 3 of our boys play in the same day, probably ever again. And it was worth it. But that's a long day.
Yeah.
And the more I coached, the more I realized, like summer stuff, you get into, I mean, you've had kids in summer baseball now.
Yep.
Your weekends are gone.
Yep.
Well, I cherish weekends. A lot of people don't for some reason.
Yeah.
I was the coach that stood up and said, I'll coach. I'm going to do 1 weekend of summer. The rest of it's going to be Monday through Thursday. Kids need to be kids too.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I mean, I did learn the hard way the first year doing that, but then I ran the league long enough. I was like, we're not doing that. It's family time is important.
Yeah.
And some of it was coach discretion, but we tried to back that off a little bit. But I have done a lot of stuff in my life. And then we get to, after working at that hog site for 8 years, the place next to me used to be called Nikolai Pork, burned down, and I bought the place, put up a 2,000 head nursery, and then I've had hog barns I bought my farm in 2004, and it had barns on it that I leased out to somebody else without labor for years. So in 2015, I took the plunge and actually worked for myself again for the second time. Under Peterson Watkins Enterprises, and kids got to work hard on the farm with me. Took some ownership to it. Moved some manure. The kids were in there involved. Like one of the barns, we did all the labor inside of it.
Okay.
So the kids got to put walls up, ceiling, put in hog equipment. We did all the equipment installed.
Oh.
We did everything. I mean, it was bones in there. We did the insulation to tin to, I had my, at the time, 10-year-old son in there helping too.
Yeah.
And so they got to watch that whole process. I'm glad I took the time to realize my kids were most important, to have the most influence on them. Because everyone can agree with me. This world is a really rotten place.
Yep.
And if you let somebody else be your kid's mentor, or you let them just go out free without you giving them your knowledge on what's right or wrong, they can be really messed up.
Yeah.
They can get into the wrong crowd. They can do a lot of stuff.
Without having that anchor.
Yeah. Yeah. And after that, of course, the kids get older, and I'm like, you guys want to expand to the pigs? And the census was, no, they don't want to expand to pigs. I'm 47. At the time, I'm 42, 43. And I've had a couple knee surgeries, an elbow surgery. I don't want to be doing chores till I'm 60-some years old. I've seen some of those guys do that.
Yeah. You've seen them hobble now.
Yeah. I didn't need some 20-year-old telling me what to do later in life.
That's what was coming. I was that guy. I'm not taking anything from that guy.
Yeah. But I mean, my supervisor for Wakefield, I was with Wakefield for quite a few years. I had him when I was at Gases, then I had him when I built those barns and stuff. Wakefield was on. Jason Nitsky was one of the greatest supervisors we've ever had. He let you do your thing. If things were good, things were good. If there was something wrong, he told you. But he fully expected us to correct what was wrong too. But I never ever remember getting in an argument with him in the 15, 16 years I was with him. Not one argument. He respected me and I respected him, and that was part of leadership too, on his part. But I was also at the state of the game. You get to the point you just hate fighting. Like everything's, why are we fighting about everything?
Yeah.
But then get to the hog expansion and try to do that with the boys. The boys say no, and the boys like shiny chrome on semis though.
Yeah.
So we go get some semis, and we started hauling some sugar beets for Melberg Farms, Mike and Matt, and did that for a couple years solid. And then they asked me to haul their lime. So that's why I bought some live bottom trailers and some end dumps. Went and started hauling lime, and then COVID came. I'm hauling lime, and actually Mike was telling me that we might not be able to haul too much more lime because we can't find anybody to spread it at the time. So I just said, well, if I buy a spreader, can we spread your lime? So that's how I got into the lime business. Was Melberg Farms. They were very generous to me, and they gave me a lot of work. Still to this day, they're very good friends, and they get CFS services now. But that was a great opportunity. I've always looked at just about everything as opportunity. It's one mindset I've always had, like what opportunity we can have here. It drives my wife crazy, I think. But everything's opportunity. Where can we do better here, or do it better than somebody else? Then, the spreading for that. I was doing some hopper work for one winter. That wasn't paying the bills. That hopper work is tough. The rates they're never there. There's too many hoppers. Everybody and their neighbor has a hopper, and the rates just aren't there unless you got something dedicated. So I just said, you know what, I'll park it. And I sent out a good 50 emails out to, one was to CFS, another one was to Return at the time, companies that needed live bottom work, because I had the live bottom sitting there doing nothing. So I thought, well, why don't I just use that? Because I don't like to sit idle. I don't like to not do anything. I got to be doing something. So Ron actually called me 2 weeks later and started hauling raw manure for you guys at CFS. It was 2022, January 22. And then we get into 23. I'm still helping. Actually, I did a lot of your pellets in 23. A lot of the pellet hauling was Evolution Farms.
I remember you came in, and our battles with trucking were being they were considerably simplified.
Yeah, Ron mentioned that a few times. I remember meeting with Ron at the Squeakies and Hutch, and he sits down this sheet, and you can see me doing this. He's like, well, there's 200 and some loads here every year. And I go, well, I'll take them all. End of discussion. Well, let's eat. Let's go. I mean, that was literally, and Ron's just like, it's not that easy, right? Like he was in fear mode because he's heard that crap before. He's never had somebody execute on what they actually say.
Yeah, we had a lot of people make promises that didn't.
Right. I meant every bit of it.
Yeah.
And I have a will, there's way. There's nothing in me that can't be figured out.
Yep.
That's the mentality I carry, just because of all the bumps, bruises, and all the stuff I've learned on the way up. It's like a lot of my failure was due to my own procrastination too. So when you learn that you're actually doing this to yourself, it's pretty easy just to be, I'm just going to execute this and be done with it. So I don't fail for myself.
Yeah.
That's the self-talk stuff that I learned from coaching.
The internal
self-talk. How you talk to yourself. You get kids, they'll sit there, I'm not going to win anyway. That's outside talk, but that's in your head too. So I tried. I've even told you this, like, what's your self-talk like in your head? Like that's part of me leading, is showing people you can actually talk to yourself better than what you do. And discipline for everybody's different, but the only person we don't listen to is us.
We know what to do.
I
We
mean,
know what food not to eat or
Yep.
what.
Yep. See that I'm a little overweight. I don't listen to myself. I stress eat. So, but the getting into CFS here was an opportunity to help you guys with better customer service. I remember calling Ron like, "Hey, we're out here in the middle of Oaks, North Dakota. Did you know the guy wanted us to actually load his spreader too and wait for 3 hours?" I had no clue. I'm like, "Just note that time." He's like, "You don't want anything right now?" I'm like, "No, just note that down for next year." And I was already not even knowing of paving the next year. Like
Yeah.
the confidence in me knew I was going to be around next year because I'm doing a good job.
Yep.
Because I always try to do a good job. So why would I not say it like that? And I remember Ron calling at the end of the season, and I said, "Are we all done with it?" And he goes, "Man, that was the smoothest season I've ever had." And I'm like, "Well, what was different?" And he was just like, you dispatched every pellet load. You did what you said you were going to do. And my son Jake was part of that. So was Tanner. So some of the guys that are still around today with CFS. And then we get into late 23. So we get through that spring of 23, which was some of the greatest stuff greatest customer service and greatest, well, for fertilizer, it was a great year for you guys.
Yeah.
Yep. It was good for everybody. Commodities were up too for everybody. So everybody was smiling. People with fertilizer and people with commodities were smiling that year. But I also was known to work until I'm almost dead. Like literally.
Sure.
And Tanner started working for me that year, and he was doing the hog chores. I remember him starting. I was gone before him, and I would come home a solid 5 hours after he was done in the barns. I remember him saying after the first week, "Are you ever going to be around here?" I'm like, "Well, I got a lot of work to get done." And that, it made money, keeping the truck rolling. That's keep the wheels spinning and you make some money, right? But what I started realizing the more I worked is, well, and it didn't come on naturally to me on how I realized this. I took some vacation early July of 23. Went up north, had a great time across lake, came back, did a small landscape project behind my garage. I threw a 70-pound block. And before you know it, that night I'm in the hospital, bleeding internally. They don't know where. And I was in the hospital 4 days.
Did it hurt, or how did you?
Didn't hurt, just felt really weird.
Oh.
Felt lightheaded, just felt really weird. And a year and a half prior, I'd been going to the doctor for low energy. And actually my iron levels were super low, but they'd already scoped me both ways and they couldn't find any leakage. Well, it was leaking right in the middle of the small intestine, which no scope's going to get to.
Oh.
So they can't really see it. So now they're trying to treat me with iron and nothing was moving. And healthcare is great and things happen for a reason, but I get to the hospital and I'm there 4 days before they know what's actually wrong with me. But I had 4 bags of blood. That's how bad I started bleeding internally. Well, while I'm there, we're still moving pellets. We're still going out to North Dakota with loads. We're still going out to Kaltenberg's out in Wisconsin Dells. And I actually just made a decision I yelled at Eric, or not yelled at Eric, I told Eric, "Give me the checkbook." Jake comes in the hospital room. I'm like, "Take the checkbook. Don't call me. Don't ask questions. I can't help you. I need to focus on me getting better. I have no clue what's wrong with me even. So I don't need the stress of where trucks are, where trucks are not." I can call Ron, tell him what I told you. And what that taught me was I didn't have to do it all.
Yeah.
I got out of there. I was in the hospital about 17 days straight. I went from Hutch, I went to the cities. I ended up having a GIST cancer, a tumor in my small intestine. They took
Inside of it?
inside. So they took out 13 inches of my small intestine. Clear margins, no treatment. Luckiest man alive. But that first cancer taught me that I don't have to do everything myself. And why don't we scale some things, and why don't we get more trucks to help instead of working all these hours that you don't need to work? And honestly, that model actually makes more money. The model of getting more trucks to help you instead of just putting 2 trucks on and doing twice the work. I mean, we've all read that book. I shouldn't say all of us, but you and I have read the book 10X, right? I was 1X in my life the whole time.
10X is easier than 2X.
Yeah, it's something that it's crazy, but most people will look at that as that instance as a bad, and they're gonna go down this negative road of I got cancer and I'm gonna. One thing that bothers me is people feeling sorry for me. I don't know why, but I think that stems to earlier in my years with my brother passing. But it doesn't feel right to me for somebody to feel sorry for me. I don't want pity or whatever sympathy. And I don't mean that in a mean way. But we get out of this, and I learned that lesson, and everything's good to go. I think about 6 months later, you guys struggled finding somebody to run and operate your trucks.
Yeah, we had an operations manager, the guy that was running all the trucking and spreading. He drew in his 2 weeks, kind of right when we were starting to overhaul our team.
Yeah, and I worked with your guys side by side almost every day for a couple of years.
Yeah, we knew you pretty well at this point.
Yeah. And I remember, and Jeremy's going to remember this moment too. I remember when bird flu hit and you guys didn't have much hours for those boys. And there was a time I helped there was a window to hit. I got called to come help. And you guys had one load to get. And all 3 of them were kind of like, well, who's going to get it? Who's going to get it? Who's going to get it? And I'm on the phone with them, because that's what truckers do, is you sit on the phone all day. And I said, well, I'll solve this for all 3 of you. Who bitches the most about not getting the hours they need? Complete silence. And all of a sudden, Jeremy's voice pops up. That'd be me. I'll go get that load. So even before I was here, I kind of was trying to lead them. I think I told the person that was dispatching, why don't you stay? Why don't you see what I can do with this? And he decided not to, and that's okay. But long story short, James and Ron asked me to come on, and I took the job. And at the time, you guys might not known this, but I knew I had an enlarged prostate at the time.
Okay.
But I didn't know it was cancerous at the time. So fast forward, I came in July. Well, I had a biopsy that December.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then I knew. Well, then I had my prostate out March 20th of 25, so just over a year ago. But I didn't realize it was cancer when I took the job. But when I did get the cancer, that scared the hell out of me. And it mainly scared me because, you think you'd learn the first time, but the second time was like, I'm getting a little lucky here. This is ridiculous. But I took it like this. My wife has been my rock all my life. And I looked at the second time around, and I just said, I don't think she wants an auction. I'm pretty sure after she's buried me of some sort, like, my health isn't good. And, you kind of go down that self-talk of how long am I going to be here? You saw me in that stage.
Yeah.
And it worries the crap out of me that my wife would have to not only have my funeral, but now all of a sudden she's got to sell all my crap too. And I don't know about you, but I accumulate a lot of crap.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. Yeah.
On a farm especially, we've got all kinds of stuff. I mean, I don't need her to do that too. I just look, I mean, I tried to picture from her on her perspective, and it was like, and she even made the comment like the same day the auction is the same day as the funeral, right? Like
Yeah.
I just want it done and over with.
Yeah.
And so then I'm a little change in life. So I actually, you guys had already asked if I would sell Evolution Farms once.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I decided, you know what, I should. That way I don't have any shit for my wife to get rid of. And honestly, probably one of the best decisions I ever made, because I talked about working myself to death.
Mm-hmm.
Not owning part of CFS has allowed me to work less. And I appreciate that. And I don't mean that in like work less, I'm not being productive with my time, but it also took away the things I hated about business. So it puts me in the slot that I'm very good at.
Yeah.
The talking to people, the selling things, the confidence to go get contracts for things, offtake agreements. I'm
Networks.
very good at that stuff. The stuff that Arlen does, I don't know why he likes it.
I agree. I am so glad he does, though. I am so glad he does.
But it put me in a place of I can execute at 100% capacity of what I'm good at, instead of doing 50% of that in a day and then going, oh, I got to do that.
Yeah, go do your QuickBooks and go do your.
Yes. Now there's still things I am a firm believer you do have to do the hard things sometimes.
Yep.
But the majority of the day is spent on things I really dive into, really enjoy. And honestly, I started driving truck for you. And when did you realize, man, this guy's the real deal?
I think early on, I was intrigued by. It's so uncommon to find someone who talks a game and then follows it up. And go back to that 200 loads of pellets, right? We've had people like, oh yeah, I can do your 25 loads of pellets. And then they get about halfway there and it starts petering out and you got new problems to deal with because they couldn't close the deal on that. And then Al's like, yeah, 200, let's see, I'll get moving on it. You know, it's like, is this guy real? Is it, what's the deal?
Well, and what people don't know what I did is, do you know how many trucks I had on that?
No.
3. Think of that. 3. I busted ass.
Yeah, so you figured out a way to make it all work.
And it's not just like you think the loads and 3 trucks, you spread that out, that's not a whole lot. But where they were at was a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we had stuff in Oaks, we had stuff in Wisconsin Dells, we had stuff in South Dakota and down by Madison, we had stuff in northern Iowa. We had stuff around here. We had guys that were like, hey, can you bring 6 loads today? We're going to load them here in the spreader. You know, the plan guys that did that.
Yeah.
And complete execution. It was planned. It wasn't just willy-nilly, here you go.
Yeah.
It was communication with Ron. It was communication. And then, you don't know this, and Ron's like, don't ever tell anybody this, but I'm going to say it now. He told me never to tell anybody that he gave me all the customers' numbers to talk to them directly, so he didn't have to. Yeah. Right? I'm like, well, why would you call them? And now I'm going to wait for your call. Yeah. And now it's the middleman. Like, and I'm not going to steal your customers. Like, I'm not in that game. I'm in it for the long haul, not the short haul. But he was like, you know how Ron is about giving that information.
And there's fear behind that.
There's fear behind it. Like, this guy's going to take our customers someday or whatever. But that's what we did. And I'm just like, dude, it keep out the middleman and discussions and communication. And it's going to go way smoother than if you were just going to call him. Then I got to wait, you know. And you know how I'm a very patient person, but all at the same time, I'm very impatient. If there's something systematized where it's easy to do, and I see that it's easy and somebody's dragging their feet because it's easy, not easy or something, they think I'm just like,
that's when we get impatient.
Yeah, just go.
I think that summarizes our leadership team, honestly. Like, we're patient. Yes, things take time. But when we can see that it's not, that there's fear or something like that holding back the action, that's when we get impatient. It's like, all right, it's time to go. Let's get moving.
Yeah. And just getting around you guys, you're all men of God. I really appreciate that. And I talk about it more than most people, and I think you've realized that. I think that opened up the door for you to talk more about
For
it.
sure it did. Yep.
And I mean, it's a great gift to preach about God, but then also on my end, the reason I'm not scared to preach about it is because he's done a great job with me so far, as like everything I've ever gone through in life, I've actually looked to him and gone, all right, why, what am I learning from this, instead of why did you do that? And I mean, I've been there just like anybody else, but eventually I'll come around and go, okay, that's what I've learned in this hardship here. But you get through that second cancer last March. I mean, I could talk. I mean, we could have a whole podcast on prostate cancer and the effects on a man with all that.
Well, if we get some requests, we'll do just that.
Yeah, if you get requests on prostate stuff, I will fill you up with a whole bunch of stuff that you never knew. And it's crazy, the adversity that somebody has to go through to keep their confidence, to keep moving, to keep plugging away. I mean, I hardly could even stay away from the office after surgery. I'm pretty sure I walked in the office with my catheter still in.
I wouldn't put that past.
I know I did.
Well, that was right at the transition time too, right? Where you went from being head of operations to COO.
Yes.
And that was kind of the window of time. And it was like, all right, Al's gone for 10 days. We are not going to bother Al for 10 days. Or 10 hours, whichever comes first. But in fairness, like, I think it gave you something to do and to distract yourself. And
100%. My kids are all out of the house now, and I needed something to do. I am not a sit still type of person. I mean, I can get lazy, but I don't sit still very long. But that whole thing coming in and I walked and I stood tall for everyone there at CFS. And I think people respect that part about me, that it's hard to be sick when they saw me like, oh, I got a cough or whatever. And I don't mean to do that to people, but I do mean to show people that we are all tougher than we all realize.
yeah.
It's a mindset.
Yep.
Every day hurts if you want it to hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to look past that stuff and keep moving forward. But just since I've been integrator, leading the team here has been awesome. The people are responsive to what I tell them. But the operations team, I've been down their shoes.
Mm-hmm.
They know I can fix a spreader if I have to.
Yeah.
Now they would all joke that I can't now. They all
Yeah.
call me paper bitch or something now.
Yep.
But I respect the heck out of the operations team, because, you know, and this is what's wrong with corporate world nowadays, is we get up to this leadership level and we're trying to make money, and we pin it on operations or sales on the reason we're not making money.
Mm-hmm.
And it actually, the reason you're not making money is probably because of culture.
Yeah.
The reason you're not making money is probably because you didn't have clear vision. You didn't tell them what to expect. You just said, go spread. Why'd the spreader break? I don't know.
Yep.
Well, ask why the spreader broke. Well, what can we do better to fix it next time?
Right.
Did we do some preventative maintenance? Was there something else we could do? And we kind of damn them for spending money.
Yeah, for sure.
And then getting them involved in budgets, getting them to understand how much they are spending.
And let's be honest, like we didn't have crap for budgets until the last 6 months when Arlen showed up and honestly taught us how to use budgets, and not that they're a limiting factor. There's actually freedom inside the budget because you don't have to call and ask for permission for every little thing. Correct. It's like, hey, I'm going to operate in this set of boundaries, and if I need to exceed it, I'll call you.
Yep.
But if I do less here and more here, it's less communication that's needed. I'm still doing my job.
Great. I mean, I've worked at places, the first thing that, all of a sudden times start getting a little tight, and the first thing they do is, oh, no more overtime for anybody. And that actually pisses me off because those guys are working their tail off, and I've been there. They come here for that overtime.
Yeah, their family is relying on that.
Yes,
income.
They love that overtime.
Yep.
And if they're working, they better be doing something.
Yep.
To earn that.
Yeah. There's no sitting getting.
Correct. So if the expectation is that we're just going to take it away just because, that irritates me. And I think we had that discussion with the CFO before. I said, you're not taking that away.
Mm-hmm.
We will be less inefficient. You're gonna put us all to 40. You know how many more trucks we're gonna need to get the job done that we need, and now we're gonna need more equipment. We're gonna need, like we're limiting our equipment by limiting our people, and that's just a bullshit thing to do. It doesn't make business sense and logical sense.
And it doesn't
to me.
match how the industry is actually built. The trucking industry, these guys are built for overtime. They're not wired to the corporate 40 hours.
Mm-hmm.
They want to work. Probably if they could get 50,
right,
they're good.
And so my leadership is different because I also do understand the finance part of it to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Arlen's got far more superior stuff as far as CapEx and getting money and talking to banks. He's a little more corporate, but he's still slightly unpolished turd like us. So just the structure we have now, where the person that is in charge of each department and in sales. I mean, you've seen me. Ron needs help. Guess what? Al goes out there and I'm going to sell that crap. And I come back and like I said, took the top off the defense for Ron. So now we've got a new person helping him. But leadership is leading them. It's not yelling at them. It's not being an asshole to them. It's asking questions.
Right. Doing servant leadership,
yes.
Not top down.
And I don't go in there and say, you have to do it like this. I ask questions and say, hey, how can we do this? Well, I've done this in the past. What have you done in the past? What can we do differently? I can say I disagree with you, but I'm not going to go, well, you're wrong. Yeah. I think there's certain words. I mean, you've heard me say, don't use that word. Don't use this word. Yep. Like there's certain words people perceive to be bad. The word I, we've had that discussion, the word I, and if you say the word I a lot, people perceive you as being kind of just about yourself. Mm-hmm. So choosy with your words, stuff like that. But everybody there, and then keeping things light, joking around. I mean, we've got people hiding coffee mugs in the office.
That was mentioned, yes.
Yeah, and they include me in on the joke.
Yeah.
I'm in, include me. Don't leave me out. I like jokes. It's fun.
Yeah.
Don't do them on me because I will get you back. Even worse. Because I like jokes.
Yep.
But the leadership that I've become is almost humbling to me, though. I look in your eyes sometimes, and you're looking at me like I've never thought of that before.
Yeah.
And it gives me gratitude to actually be a servant leader to people. And one of my missions, the second cancer also taught me perspective. Perspective is everything in life. How you want to perceive it is how you'll be. So there's a lot of perspective changes, and some people will say, you've had cancer twice. Do you think God really loves you? I'm like, well, I mean, he did it to me because maybe I was a little stubborn.
Yeah.
Maybe it was me that was doing, and he didn't do it to me. It was just altering me to change and think differently. And God is good. I've got 4 great, healthy kids. I've got a grandkid. Boy, grandkids are freaking fantabulous. The just a game changer as far as just how grateful somebody can be once grandkids come. It's like kids are kind of crazy. You're running around raising them. You're side by side with your wife. You're not really looking her in the face, grandkids come and it's just complete joy. And like the discussions with my wife and I with grandkids is great.
Sure.
What can we do with them? We want to teach them. Or where you have kids, you're scared that you have to feed this kid. You've got to keep providing for this kid. Where a grandkid's like, oh, what can I teach you, man? This is going to be fun today.
So what was that moment like, right? You have your own kids and it's like instantly your life, the busyness meter goes up significantly.
Oh, yeah.
But then grandkids, it's a whole different.
Oh, it's so calming. It's complete opposite. Like you see the kid just running through the house. You're just like, man, look at his balance. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But as a dad, I was just like, could you stop running?
Yeah.
Like
perspective, right?
Right. Like, just stop. Could you sit still? Like Jackson, we called him Turbo. He didn't stop. It was literally everywhere all day.
Yeah.
He would not stop. And it was just like, Jackson, for 30 seconds. Can you sit? It wasn't his DNA.
Yeah.
Looking back, if I'd have known what I know now, I'd have been like, keep running, kid.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
But just a perspective, and I'm sure, when you have kids, there's always money issues. There's what's spent on what, there's budgets. Yeah. And you get a little angry and you kind of parent with anger sometimes, and you yell at them, and maybe it's not even the kid's fault. It was just how you were that day. And but the perspective, I really think that's what God's trying to do to us, all of us. If he gives you something that's hard and you have to have some adversity, he's trying to teach you to look at the good and then share. Because I'm still here and alive. I've had 2 cancers, absolutely 0 treatments, just surgeries, take them out. I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm like 1 in 0, or there's nobody that's.
Oh, you're a 1 in a million now.
Yeah, there's
maybe 1 in a billion.
Yeah, it's mind blowing to me that he hasn't taken me. And it's humbling to me when I look up at God and I just say thank you, because I get to enjoy today.
Yeah.
And enjoying the day with a perspective that's very open-minded on what am I doing today, and my intentions are good. It's a different way of life that I've had the last couple of years because of the perspective change.
So it's been a year since your prostate's been out, but I think your perspective changed, but partially changed, right? Like obviously your cancer is going to be an eye opener in a whole different way, but are there any other like really defining moments where you felt like you just woke up and realized like I need to be more positive, I need to be more confident, I need to be lead better? I don't know what.
Yeah, I mean, you always have that argument. Like my wife, like I said, she's been my rock all these years. I mean, we fight just like any other couple does. But she's been chasing my perspective for longer than I thought she had. And she's really taught me how to be more communicative with her. And we've
What do you
actually
mean chasing your perspective?
she's been telling me things over the years, hey, working so much isn't going
Okay.
to see your kids more.
Changing your perspective.
She's
Yep.
been trying to change my perspective for years, and I didn't really see it till later in life. And I think we all are guilty of that.
Yeah.
I think every man that wants to provide for their family is just going to go as far as they can to get whatever they can to provide, and they don't see it as missing out on the kids. They see it as providing for their kids.
I would agree. Yep.
And it's just the difference between women and men sometimes, but the perspective and seeing things her way has helped me, but she also has grown and seen things my way on some things. So I think marriage, and then too many people think marriage is just a willy-nilly thing, or just I don't like you, you don't like me, let's just leave. No, we're in it for the long haul. We married each other. There's a ring on my finger, there's a ring on her finger, and that was in front of God.
Yeah.
We owe it to God to stay married. And we do have a rule: God's first, family second, third work.
Mm-hmm.
And if you stay by those three rules, it's a lot easier.
Yeah, we talk about that at work.
So
that's one of our, it's not a core value so much as just an act or a guiding. It's how we guide ourselves and keep ourselves on track and check ourselves against.
Right. With adult children, that's I love this stage of kids. They're I got a 27-year-old, he's almost 25. He's 24 now. 21 and a 20-year-old. Or sorry, 22. Jackson's 22. He just turned 22 in February. But they're all independent. They're all living by themselves somewhere else. They're not in my house. I'm very proud of that. They're what one of my greatest accomplishments. And I talked to them. I talked to Bria today already. I talked to Jake today already. I'm sure I'll talk to Jackson, and Judd is probably every other day. Maybe every third day. He's busy at work and stuff like that during the day, and he does a lot of physical stuff. So he's not by the phone as readily available as the other ones. But proud of every one of them, that what they're doing, and you can imagine this. I say I let things fly out of my mouth.
You?
So do they. But the perspective is, they did come from me.
Yeah. Yep.
And if you don't know my wife, she flings some stuff too once in a while.
Yep.
She's real quick and witty, way wittier than I am. And they all have that gift. And I've said this to both Judd and Bria. Jake is already boisterous enough. I think he'll be fine in life. Jackson he's my son Jackson is actually one of the reasons I'm more steered towards God than anybody else. I shouldn't, my wife first and then Jackson second. He has been always very prayed for me, stuff like that, and then been boisterous about it. But the middle, Judd and Bria, they both are me.
Okay.
A lot more like me. Judd's got so much common sense, and he's like, whatever comes out of his mouth is very true.
Sure.
And there's no sugarcoating to it.
It's direct.
Very direct and true, but he doesn't speak up until it's needed.
Okay.
Like he'll sit back and listen, but when it's time, it's done. It's said.
Yep.
And that's such a gift that a lot of people don't have. And I've told both of them, you have a gift that I have, someday you'll use it right. And what I mean by that is my younger years, you kind of, you get angry at stuff. You let things fly that maybe you shouldn't fly. You just keep the insults to yourself and just say it truthfully, and more people will respect you.
You probably don't understand the ripple effect of comments either, right? When you're younger.
Right. Yeah, I remember one of Jake's first baseball coaches. I did not agree at all what they were teaching, and I let her know. Probably wasn't the right way to let her know, but I let her know.
Yeah.
But I did it with her only. It wasn't in front of kids or nothing. But yeah, I kind of left there going, "Hey, I was a little too harsh." Like,
Yeah.
why did I get that heated over
Youth.
4th grade baseball?
Oh, but that's true, right?
You
Like
know?
the things you look at yourself and be like, really? Was it worth?
Yeah, I mean, I'm the guy that would actually tell people to be quiet in the stands during games, basketball, if I wasn't coaching or if I was coaching. I mean, if anybody out there is listening that's a coach, the best thing to do to shut up a parent that you want shut up is send their kid up there to tell them to be quiet or I can't play anymore. It works.
That's
Works pretty fast.
pretty effective.
Mm-hmm. I usually ask the kid if they like their parents spouting off like that, and they would say no. And I'm like, okay, well, if you tell him to be quiet, he might be.
Yeah.
If I say it, he's not.
No, you're just the coach.
That works really well, and it works well for seasons, like long-term effect.
Okay.
Like something like if you're on a team and it happens once and everybody saw it happen, they will be cheering for the kids instead of
That's
cheering.
how it should be in the first place. Like, I don't know. That's what drives me nuts about some of the culture of these youth sports. And just talking about how much you and I have spent, how much time we've spent talking about and creating our culture, right?
Mhm.
But all these parents, yeah, sure, I'll just group them all. But for some reason, they think they're going to make it in the big leagues, which is 1 in 100,000. And a lot of them are so quick to tear down their kid when the first thing they need is like you got the next one, right? Like, keep your head up.
You think of this. Back when we went to school, we didn't have parent-funded stuff. And if we were in sports, we rode a school bus.
Yeah.
And we rode the school bus back.
Yeah.
Now it's all parent-funded, right? So if you're going to hockey, you're riding back with your parents. Those kids are trapped with their parents after they failed.
Getting recoached, probably.
Yes, over and over and over again. And I remember thinking this when I mean, because I coached my boys, so they naturally rode with me to and from to some things. And Jackson was probably 10 years old. And I said something to him. He goes, "Dad, I don't want to talk about it." You got it. Okay, I get it.
Yep.
Like, he was trapped in a car on the way home. He already lost the game. They and I say this to anybody that has good intentions. If they failed, they're already hard on themselves. Their self-talk is already shit. You don't need to help that.
Right.
I don't need to sit there. You play like shit. I don't need to do that. Parents don't need to do that. They think they do. They think they're helping, but it's really not. So if any parents listening, just think on the ride home from the game, talk about anything else but the game.
Other than a good job, it looked like you played hard.
Yes. Yep. It literally, there's probably, with all this AI nowadays, you probably find that on AI that it's probably a true thing.
Yeah.
I challenge everybody to look at AI for that. I bet you it's there. But just coaching has really taught a lot over the years.
It's crazy to think how much. I mean, I'm going to give you a ton of credit for being a huge catalyst to the change we've had in our team. But if I hadn't been a coach, I don't think that we could have created this to look at. I don't think that you and I would have as much stuff to talk about and theories and like how you lead people. Because you got to focus on wins. You got to focus on what's working and building on things, not keep tearing away the bad things.
I mean, you just saw this, I think, last week, revisiting the same decision or the same Revisiting a decision made and revisiting it over and over again. That's an absolute pet peeve of mine. Bringing up the past.
That's a culture killer, is what that is.
Yeah, bringing up the past on a decision already made, even if it was right or wrong. It doesn't matter which way it was. Bringing it up again is just BS to me because it's unproductive. And if you can get your team to not do that and just keep moving forward, and yeah, you're definitely going to make wrong decisions.
Absolutely.
I'm still going to make wrong decisions, but what I'm able to do is say that I was wrong and pivot.
Yep.
I'm going to do this instead.
Maybe get teased a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's in light,
way.
like,
Yeah.
oh, boss just messed up. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want. I got no problem with that. Usually can't remember if it was Dave or Ron, but they gave me some crap and I'm like, yeah, you need Jesus too. So that's, but you know, I had people write stories on CFS too, right? And what they liked about here. And it was across the board consensus on everybody's stuff that the reason they like coming here is they have common goals with people, and the lightness of the atmosphere, the culture, the willing to help the next person. I honestly don't think I've heard anybody say that's not my job.
No, that's a great way to leave.
Right. I mean, if anybody says that's not my job, I might knock you out in a nice way. That's a pet peeve of mine too, not my job. And it's like, wow, really? Not your job. It's such a bad thing to say.
For morale. Yeah.
Yeah. Because the person that says it would love help too, but they just don't know it.
Yep.
Right. When they're buried and they don't get help, it's usually because maybe you didn't help somebody else, right? And we don't have that problem.
No.
Jeremy and his team just keep executing. Honestly, sales has done a great job with. You told me to get opportunity. What did I do?
Yep, you done delivered that.
And now there's more manure for those guys, and they're executing on that. And more manure meant sales had to really bust balls too, and they've executed on that. And finance is executing as well. But nothing's perfect, right?
Never. Not perfect. Perfection's only a moment in time.
Right. But what we do have in place is people that are kind of constantly looking at, can I do this process better? And that's great because nobody's instilled in them that they need to be perfect.
No.
Because there isn't perfection. Because the more you grow, especially the more we grow, there's things that aren't going to work anymore.
It's not perfection that we're achieving. It's just excellence.
Yes. Going after hard work and doing things other people won't do. The problem solving that our team can do is by far superior over anybody else. Our culture is our strength when it comes to getting moving stuff and execution on projects. And that's a great thing. That culture drives that. Nothing else. I don't care how good of people you have. If they don't work together, they ain't nothing.
If you don't have a team, which, let's talk about our team for a second. Let's talk about some of the growth we've had or changes even in the last year of just like who we get to surround ourselves with each day. And in the spirit of excellence, what are we doing? What are we getting better at? And even for you, like what's exciting and what's challenging?
Well, challenging to me is, for us, we're doing some unknown stuff. Um, the good thing in my mind is I love challenges. I'm able to operate with less information, but I do I want a lot of information as much as I can handle, but I'm able to just start going and move and then catch why I'm running and
Yeah.
then execute like that. But what I see in our growth, just in our operations, is Jeremy's leadership has changed a lot over the last year. It'll be a year in June that he's been full time with his operations job. And I think both of us were surprised when we asked who wants it, and he said me. But he's exceeded my expectations. Like today, I had a discussion with him on how you doing, where you at on capacity, how's spring spread going, and he goes, honestly, my mind's at a really good place right now. I mean, we've got a lot of spreading to do this spring, but we're moving, we're doing stuff. I'm good, and I even gave him a little bit of a curveball this morning. Right away in the morning, I always try to do that to guys, give them a little bit of a curveball, see how they react.
Sure you do.
And he just says, yes, sir. And he did what he needed to do. And but his growth has been mind blowing to me. And I love every bit of it because he's accepted every challenge I've ever given him. Now, he hasn't been perfect by any means. But his team actually, he lets his team tell him that he's not perfect.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
Which is the vulnerability that he needs to keep people leading people.
Mm-hmm.
If they can't talk to him about what he's doing, then that opened my eyes like, oh, this guy's actually listening to his team. He actually lets them let them say what's on their mind.
Feedback.
Yes.
Yep.
Because if you don't get feedback from the people you're leading, what good are you? If you don't want it, you're not a good leader.
Probably shouldn't be there in the first place.
Right. So he's done a great job. Dave, in our sales and marketing, I think we've all said this. He's answered all my questions. Every time I got a question, he's there. We just had it with the change name of the eggshells, right?
Yeah.
He set us all straight, didn't he?
Yeah, we had it named. It was signed, sealed,
Yeah.
executive order signed for what the new name of eggshells was. And
It comes with us with, nope, this is why. And we're all like, oh, crap. So that, and then, you get Arlen in the finance. I can't say enough about that guy. He is good at his craft.
yeah.
Understanding.
Is good a good word or is great a better word?
Great. He's a great friend too to me.
Yeah.
And him and I, and well, you and I can do this too, but I can have conversations and disagree with all of you. But at the end of the conversation, we can still joke with each other. It's not even we're not even heated for 10 seconds afterwards. It's no, I don't like it because of this, or and
Healthy conflict.
Yeah, it's with anybody. And Arlen, I can actually, we really get into it sometimes. I mean, we're both almost the same person when you look at our skills. We're both negotiators, and him and I can really get into it. But
I would say different ends of negotiating. Like if you put negotiation on a spectrum,
yeah,
you guys are more at opposite ends, which is why the compliment.
Correct.
Is so
yeah,
there.
We actually complement each other very well. But we're able to have that conversation, and at the end of the day, either I'll say, "Yeah, okay, you're right," or he'll say, "Yeah, okay, I'll go with that."
Yeah.
It's not a "Wow, fuck you," and then we're off separate ways for 3 days. But the department leads are great. They're great leaders, and that shows through on their teams as well. I mean, you've seen us throw truths to people, right? Like we have to be honest with each other. We have, I want you to be honest feedback back. Then, the glue to the office is Jessie there with sitting when you walk in, and the way she works with sales and operations, all that meshing that they have to do together. It's been great.
Yeah.
Kayla coming on for compliance. Oh, she's detailed.
Yep, she is. She has the most sly sense of humor of anybody I've ever met.
She does have a pretty sly sense of humor. I haven't called her this yet, but I call her the bean counter.
Okay.
Yeah, she counts the beans and makes sure they're right. Ron's just a salesman, pitcher, and he's salesman, but he's pretty good with words. He's a good closer. He's one of the best closers I've seen in sales. As far as we both have kind of a similar attack on getting people to open up. And this is the key to sales to me is talking to them, asking them about their operation, understanding their operation. Well, they're going to know if you're full of shit or not, if you know what you're talking about or not.
Yeah.
So know your info before you talk to anybody, right?
Yeah.
But by the time you've let them talk, let the customer talk and tell him what his situation is, and then fix his problem.
Listen.
Yeah.
Educate.
Yeah, and if you can fix his problem, you got a sale. Ron does that better than anybody. As far as getting people to open up and talk to him, because he's also kept things light.
He's a BSer for sure. Yeah.
Ryan, I think he's only been here for a week now, I think, roughly.
Yeah, hasn't been
long. But I can already see he's got so much common sense. That common sense is going to bring him wherever he needs to go. Mm-hmm. And he's able to talk openly. So those are two things. And Ryan, if you're listening, when you sat in a room full of myself and Arlen, Dave, and Ron, and the way you're sitting in your chair proved to me that you were comfortable in your own skin.
So we had a first kind of company meeting, and we call it a lunch and solve, where we all get together and we try to figure out what are our biggest problems that we have internally that are breaking, and let's fix those. Mm-hmm. Right. And we had an issue where we broke process because we had a producer call us and just say, look, I got 3,000 tons that got to go yesterday. Yep. And Ron was actually out, and it was Ryan's like day 2. Mm-hmm. And I haven't told him this, but I was watching what he was doing. Mm-hmm. And he was solving, just reaching out right away. He was getting fields, locations, quantities, like just everything needed. And I was like, this guy's going to work.
Well, then he sent them to Kayla, and then Caleb got up. Yep. Kayla got up and went to her computer and entered him in the app for the truckers right away. So we had everything. There wasn't, like the truckers don't see this part of it, right? Right. Where we're scrambling to get the pins, and they're wondering, why don't we have that yet? Well, and farmers, if you're listening, you can actually go on our website and find out how to do it with Google Pin. Some of you guys don't know how to do it. We'd really appreciate it if you learned how to do a Google Pin.
It saves a lot of time and improves our ability to do the job right.
So anyway, Kayla gets that done. She comes back in lunch and solve, and boom, we're going. And what you didn't see is the next day we had the sales meeting, and Ron actually thanked them for taking care of that problem, because he usually would have got a call at home for that. Yeah. So the culture of fixing it, not calling Ronnie's off, it's great. And it's good to see teams react like that and thank each other and see it, but they haven't, like Ron's actually told me this, like, the way I lead, he's never seen it before. And I'm like, well, that means you got to learn something from me.
That's one of the things I love, is just how you raise the bar on everybody. Like, You know, what he threw out was a nice compliment that spun right back around to be like, Annie is up.
Yep. That's
Time to perform.
That's the competition, right?
Yep.
I mean, I haven't shared this with anybody, but like we grow, it would just be music to my ears, calming to my heart, seeing Ron develop into a sales leader,
Yeah.
seeing Jeremy come into a spot like me, or
Yeah.
you know, seeing Gavin, or even August, Ethan, those guys down there, or anybody on the team grow with us into better positions, and or I shouldn't say better, into different positions, and want to grow with us, and be challenged themselves, and make sure that they know they don't have to be perfect.
Yep.
That you just have to good intentions, do a good job,
Be transparent.
be transparent. That's it. If you're going to do something, make sure you know what you're doing. Make sure you educate yourself. You make sure. I mean, I've never gone to college. That's something I didn't mention before. I've never gone to college. I was that kid in school that hated it. I didn't like school. I was the kid that asked the superintendent, "How many vacation days do I get?" Yep, 26. That's how many days you get. They're not vacation days though.
Yeah,
They're sick days.
They're sick
They're vacation days. Yes.
Sick vacation.
So the argument with my superintendent was, well, aren't you setting me up for real life? Don't in real life we get vacation days? You know,
I'm taking the full pension here, buddy, on vacation.
Yep. Yeah. So he actually wouldn't give me the dates. So then I had to read the handbook myself, and I didn't read much, but I went and read for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that's the difference. You're touching on something that's fascinated me. And one of the things I think the reason why our culture thrives as well, right? It's like if you have the need or the want to learn something,
You can do it.
it's easy. But when you're trying to have something that you don't want to learn shoved down your throat, or it's a job duty you just despise, you are never going to do as well at it. And so finding a way to put people where they belong in their interests and their strengths,
Right.
you way outperform
Mhm.
those that are just doing a job,
Yep.
regardless of how high their pay is, right? Pay has nothing to do without
Nothing to do with it.
of interest and output. And yeah, so that's I think is something that's fascinating to me, is when you see people in those spots, like I think you are right now.
Yeah, I'll take anything and twist it for the positive, or if I see an opportunity, I'll dig deep and do the self-taught stuff. I mean, hopefully my insurance doesn't hear this, but I can wire a house if I had to. I could wire my garage if I
Yeah.
had to. Like we
Yeah.
all do things to save money too.
Yeah.
I mean, I've built motors. I've done a lot of stuff. I'm like, I ain't paying somebody else to do that.
Yeah.
We're still 2X in our life here.
Yeah.
So, but those things taught me a lot. You know, I wouldn't change it for anything.
Yeah. Yeah. And even go back to building motors. Yeah, it's not your sweet spot, but I bet you at that time, that's probably the best thing you could have done with what resources you had.
Yep.
To make another dollar, or not pay somebody that money.
Correct. And I looked at it, that was free money if I could do it myself.
Yeah.
And
Probably what, 10 grand?
oh yeah, for some of that stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
It's super cheap to do stuff yourself if you know where to buy the right parts and stuff like that. And then, you know, one thing, I think Jeremy knows this now, but one of my pet peeves is also just going to the same place to buy your everything and not ever check it anywhere else once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Keeping it honest,
right? Check your insurance every couple of years with somebody else. You know, did you need a battery for $325? Did you know they sell them at NCI and Glencoe for $99? What? You know, like
Yeah.
you can go buy a whole 3 batteries for a whole truck instead of just one here, and that's nothing against the small businesses and stuff like that, but we have ends to meet too.
Yep.
And I mean, if I if someone wants to come to me from a small business that's selling a $300 battery, I would say maybe you should team up with them or go buy the $99 battery from them too, and then sell it for like 110. I'd buy it from you for 110.
Yeah.
It wouldn't drive down there, whatever.
Yeah.
But there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
But like just double checking costs and stuff before you dig deep. And here, like equipment wise, I mean, you've known me now for a couple of years. I've never been the shiny brand new equipment guy.
No, we just completely overhauled the trailer.
Right. And there's money to be saved by taking some old stuff and making it good again. I got no problem doing that, especially with all this new stuff with computers and expensive. Everything's expensive.
And the parts seem to be, the quality of new parts seem to be declining.
Correct. Yeah, big time.
Maybe brake chambers or things like that.
Right. And then, the trucks we have, it matters if you get good help or not too. Like, hey, young kids. I mean, we got a young operations team, 20, 25, 24 to, I think Jeremy's, well, how old, Steve? Jeremy's 38.
Okay.
Steve a little bit about the same age, I suppose.
Steve's got to be about that age, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, we've got 6 guys in that young, hungry state, and they like Kenworths and they like Peterbilts. That's
Well, you're what, 47? You said
47. Yeah.
And I mean, other than Dave, you're the oldest in the company.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah.
You're welcome. You're
It's
welcome.
okay. I don't feel that old. But yeah, isn't that crazy that I am the second oldest in the company at 40-some years old?
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is. This is crazy to think.
That's probably why we have adopted technology and efficiencies as well as we have.
Actually, no, Arlen's older than me by 1 month.
Oh, that old guy.
Yeah.
You're number 3.
Yeah. He's a 78 baby. I'm a 79 baby.
Okay.
But culture's great. Culture's great everywhere. I'll get to God a little bit. I pray for a lot of wisdom, because wisdom is you need a lot of wisdom. I do pray for my kids where I work a lot, but I pray for the world to be set the correct way. And I don't know if anybody agrees with me, but I actually see that happening now. Like there was a few years, you look at COVID and you look at all that crap that went on then and how south that our culture went.
Mm-hmm.
I can actually feel a shift of more Christ, more God-like stuff. Where'd you see God today? In more places than I saw a couple years ago.
Yeah, that's...
And it's funny. I hardly watch TV. I used to watch TV all the time. I don't think I watch. If I watch the news, it's for the weather. And that's it.
Yeah.
And I can get that on my phone if I have to. But we don't watch much TV anymore. I used to watch way more TV before COVID, but having that TV on and just seeing negative crap all the time.
That influence.
Just turned me off. Just completely. To sports too. Like, I can't even watch sports. It's hard.
Really?
It's hard for me to watch a game on TV because of all the political BS they still do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, just play a basketball game for me, would you? So
Yeah.
like I've gone to like college games, in-person stuff. I'll do that with my kids, but watching it on TV now and just all the stuff that they do and have on their shirts nowadays and
Kneeling and...
yeah, it just doesn't yank my crank. So actually, it's good for CFS because I bury my nose in the computer and research more, right?
Yeah.
And it's good for me too because I want to educate myself on what we're doing. But what we're doing at CFS is game changing, and sustainable farming is going to have to be a thing in the United States in the future. And you can see that with some of the bills passing.
Yep.
You can see that with, mines shutting down in places. You can see that with barges being stopped and can't get over here. Like, the only way to get your inputs in the future could be right here at home with animals,
Anyway,
with manure, with inputs that are natural, that, and I've said this to you before. I think the word organic is a swear word sometimes to some people, but the sustainable stuff is going to be the future, and we're at the forefront of it.
Yeah.
We are going to change and educate. That's the key. We need to educate
and influence.
and influence in a good way. And if you're listening to this, it's not foo-foo dust we're doing. This is inputs. It's a different way to get fertilizer. And we'll educate you, and it will be fact driven. It will be what it needs to be, what you need, but it's going to change what agriculture is.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what else to say other than stay tuned.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a big change coming up. I'm really excited to be working with who we're working with and the opportunity that we have. That's just knowing, like, I've always wanted to have an impact on agriculture.
Yeah,
And it's coming. It's coming. There's
patience, right?
Yeah, no, it's going to take time. I have no doubt about that, but it's much different to see an opportunity that actually can at scale
Oh,
than to like be searching for it.
Yeah, it's easy.
Mm-hmm.
Patience, God first.
Yeah, it's like hockey, right? It's easy to win. You just score more goals than the other team.
Yeah.
The rest of it's hard, but the concept is easy.
The competitiveness in me will not die.
Oh, I'm well aware.
I have some relentless in me that will change sustainable farming and organics too, because it will be organics and it'll be conventional guys that'll use some of this product, so it'll be a fun time. But the trajectory of where we're going is just, you wake up and go, this is what I get to work on today. Nice.
Yep. Can this be real? Like, you ever, is that like, that's one of my thoughts, is instead of it being like, what is it going to be now? It's what are the steps now?
Right.
Instead of what does the opportunity look like?
Yeah. I guess one thing I haven't touched on is, like, I have a son that actually farms too. Right.
Yeah.
Jake is 27, farms south of Hector, Minnesota, does a great job. He has some good equipment. He's always improving his stuff. He's always looking how he can improve to be more efficient. He's kind of like me in a way. He doesn't realize it yet, but that was me when I was that age. He's the one with the grandkid Lucas, he already brings that kid to the shop, right?
Yeah.
He's already running around the shop pushing stuff. He pushes the snap-on little sitter thing. He treats it as a toy and slides across the little shop on it already at 19, 20 months. It's kind of fun. But I walked in and I said, "Yeah, Lucas in the shop already. Might as well introduce him right away." I'm like, "Yeah, that was what I did." Because my boys were with me a lot when they were younger in the shop with me. Some people think that's unsafe and all that stuff, but you know what? It's one of the safest environments they could be in with that.
So you have short-term risk and a long-term risk, and the long-term risk is, what's your kid gonna do? I can look back and wish that I would have done more of that, but I was so busy trying to provide and trying to make farming work that
they were a hassle sometimes, right?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I think that's a great environment for them to be in. And
But yeah, I remember being that way sometimes. Like, all right, you got to get out of here. We're dropping an axle on a truck or something. You can't be in here. Like, go sit over there. Stay
Mhm.
there. Stuff like that. I mean, I was very safe about it. But then, like, when they got older, they started messing around on cars and stuff like that. And that was entertaining to me because I'm like, how are they going to do that?
Yeah,
I'm not telling them,
yeah,
uh, so, Jake would buy, I don't know, he got this car for $35. This like a Saturn of some sort. That thing had more chicken lights on it than anything. It was something else. But yeah, watching kids tear stuff apart and then coming up to the house going, can you help me put it back together?
yeah,
It's kind of fun.
yeah.
I remember Jake having a class, an entrepreneur class in school, and his teacher talked him into putting some stuff on LinkedIn for sale. He was cedar wrapping coolers, standing
Yeah.
up, stand up, put up just a normal cooler, cedar wrap it, and put it up on legs, basically. Put that thing on LinkedIn, and all of a sudden he comes home. He goes, "I sold 50," and I went,
On
50?
Facebook or LinkedIn?
LinkedIn.
Okay.
This is back in 15, 16.
Okay.
So, and I was at home. Well, then he comes home the next day. He goes, "Well, I can't be in the shop unless somebody else is in the shop. I can't go in there my study hall hours." And I'm like, you know what? I was coaching at the time, so I'm like, I'll just come to school like 1 o'clock. Just sit there till I got to go to practice. So I actually got to do woodwork in the school with Jake to get those 50 coolers done with him for his entrepreneur class. And so we systematized. I'm like, we're not building one, we're building 50.
Yep.
Right? Why are we making, like we had the top boards, I think there was 6 or 7 top boards. Well, 6 or 7 times 50.
Yep.
Let's cut all those right now.
Yeah.
We're not gonna
I'm gonna
make
cut
this one cooler, then go to
build
this,
one.
and then just having, that made him think of, oh God, I need inventory.
Oh yeah.
Like we were there, he just bought enough for a couple. And I'm like, well, let's just get it done with. So the entrepreneur class taught him, oh, I have to have money to make stuff, to resell it.
Mhm.
Plus I have to have inventory. And, so that was fun doing that with one of my kids at school and then going to coach basketball. That was a great time.
Mhm.
I mean, coaching actually brought a couple kids here to CFS.
Yeah.
Relationships are important in life,
Mhm.
to keep those relationships. And they're here for a reason. That I've led them, taught them a few things along the road. Yeah, every day I try to lead. I try to do it right. I try to,
Well, I think you do a hell of a good job.
you can thank God for that.
I do. I actually do.
Because
So
without him, I wouldn't be a good leader.
yeah,
If you can't lead,
glory goes to God.
and honestly, if you really think about this, if you don't follow God, can you actually be a good leader?
Where's the humility?
Like, you've noticed I'm not a demander. I don't lead out of anger. I get excited once in a while, but I'll realize it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm okay with people pointing out, like, hey, you're getting a little excited right now. I mean this. Like, yeah, I get that. But I don't just go off the wall.
Right.
That doesn't solve any problems. Not one.
It creates more.
Yeah. And, maybe I learned that the hard way. But realizing and looking in the mirror has probably been the hardest thing I've ever done. self-control is one of the hardest things you can ever do. Sitting in a meeting where you disagree with everybody and keeping your mouth shut until you actually hear it all instead of reacting is the hardest thing anybody will ever do.
Yeah. And not getting stuck, still listening after disagreeing and just continuing to listen to see.
You've actually done a way better job of that the last year and a half than you used to.
Good to know.
Would you agree?
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's a lot of things, and it's hard to measure or understand. I just think for me, in the portion was I was so unaware. I didn't know where I started.
Correct. Yeah, the awareness sometimes of people is crazy. Like, and on the other end, when you're dealing with somebody that's not aware, the only thing you can do is keep speaking truths to them.
Mm-hmm.
Don't call them names. Don't do any of that stuff. But
Yeah.
just keep speaking the truth. Keep saying what's on your mind. Keep pointing it out. Like, hey, I know you're saying this, but are you hearing me? Like, I mean, there's a lot of people that are unaware. I mean, you're way more aware than some people are sometimes on most things. But you've actually, it's hard for somebody to actually see that in themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I'll point it out though. I mean, in a nice way, if it ever happens, like
Yeah.
Yeah. But that, and you will too now. I mean, you're very good at like calling me out if I've got something. We're both good at that. But it's hard.
Yeah.
5 years ago, could you talk the same way you do today?
I doubt it. No. I mean, quite frankly, I was way too proud of myself.
Right.
It's about me.
Yeah. I mean, we all get there about ourselves and that stuff. But if you can,
And let me add one more thing. I think I was so worried about what other people thought.
Yep. Everybody gets into that.
And dropping that and realizing that it's pretty much God, my wife, and then those nearest that I work with.
Yep.
It simplifies everything a lot.
Ron has that fear too of what people see him.
Mm-hmm.
Ron's a different looking cat. He's a good cat though. I've actually talked to him about this, and I'm like, you just got to be like the Home Alone kid. I'm not afraid anymore, right? Like, just gotta. Like,
Sounds dumb, but yeah,
I'll reference movies or stuff like that to these guys, and he's just like, I know, but like, yeah, you got to get over what people think of you.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, most of the time, they're not even thinking the same stuff you're thinking,
or of you at all.
Yeah, it's just you thinking, oh gosh, people are watching me right now.
Yeah.
And I mean, you probably, when my kids were younger, I'd sit in church. A kid would squawk. One of my kids would squawk or yell or something, and I would sweat because people are watching me.
Oh yeah.
I don't sweat anymore. I mean, I could care two less if a grandkid's squawking now if we're in church and I'm holding Lucas and he squawks. I think it's funny. I'm like, everybody should see this.
What a difference, right? From like, oh man, these people think I'm a crappy parent or something.
Right. Like,
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just perspective as you get older. And I try to teach my kids in their 20s, like, hey, it's perspective. Don't think that way. One thing that, my wife and I are changing that, this is no knock to our parents, but our kids, your kids, everybody's kids need more help when they're younger. And if you help them when they're younger, be it financially, words, whatever, if you help them when they're younger, that's way more years you're going to impact. So if they're going to go buy a house, or if they're going to go do something, how can we help? We don't do it for them.
Yep.
Because I don't believe in doing things for them.
Yep.
But where can we help? Oh, I don't know. For instance, my wife is going to go paint at Jackson's place that he just bought, Minneota, in a couple weeks, right?
Yeah.
Go paint for a day with them. Help them out with that. Do you want us to help you pay for the paint? No, we don't need help with the paint. We just need help with labor. Jake asked if I could, sit in a planter or drive manure truck this spring. Yep, I can help you with that. It's going to help. Judd just moved into one of the farms that, Jake was living there. It's on the main farm where our dryer and stuff is for corn. Judd, you need anything? Yeah, I could use new dishes. We'll get you some dishes. Like, help your kids early in life. Don't not, especially if you have the money. Get projectile them, but just get them the help when they need it, and they'll be 10 times better off it later in life.
Yeah.
And like I said, no knock to our parents. We've worked a lot. They've helped us out when they can, but it's something we see. You see generational wealth, right?
Yeah.
I didn't grow up with that.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And boy, I wish I had it sometimes. I was kind of jealous and envy, right?
Generational wealth. I grew up with a lot of that.
What's that?
If the school of hard knocks equals generational wealth, then I was very fortunate.
Right, but you see it and all that stuff, and you get a little envy of it sometimes.
Yeah.
But honestly, when you look back at it, good for them. Be great. They're just people.
They did what they could.
They had what they had. Their parents had what they had. It got passed down how they had it. You can't damn them for it. I mean, even some of these big farmers, good for them. They put a lot of work into getting a lot of land.
Yeah, they did.
It's not like they just sit at home and it just comes slaps on their lap. But people think that.
Yep.
They do a lot of PR work. They go out and do a lot of things. They go show up at events.
They take a lot of risk.
They take a lot of risk, and it worked out for them, right?
Yep.
And if they want to hand that to their kid when their kid's 25, so be it. I would do the same thing for my kids if I could, I mean, there's some people that get everything handed to them and their attitude isn't quite right yet, but they'll get straightened out somewhere along the line. It's not my job to straighten them out.
Yep.
But they work for everything, that they've had. Their parents showed them what to do, and they have to maintain it too. That's not easy to maintain acres and farm it. And, so the envy part of me is gone too, right? Like,
that's the most freeing part though, is like just really being in like thinking in an abundance mindset, right? Like we just want everybody to do well.
Yep.
Like you no longer have to be like, well, how come that guy got, well, if I got that, like all those thoughts are just gone. And you don't have to even let those waste any ounces of energy or time in your mind. And you can just be much more grateful.
Correct. Yeah. The not worrying about what people think and just putting your head down and working and just trying to do things right. Just says a lot on people's integrity and stuff to me, and who we work with matters to us too. I mean, you've seen me walk away from deals. I'm like, that's a one-way relationship. That one is not going to work.
Yep.
Right. Being able to say no is a powerful tool.
Yep.
And you've noticed that too, right?
Yeah.
Like you actually use the word no. Like, I wouldn't say more than anybody, but you've learned that word because our time is important as well. And you don't want to waste it.
No, that's the one non-renewable resource we have, and we have no idea how much we have.
Correct. Yeah, you don't tell me that. Or could be dead when I leave. When you leave out of your yard, a truck could hit me.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's that fast. Life is way too short. The amount of how short life has been taught to me is exponential. Like, it's that short. And live every day like you can, like you should.
It's probably one of the things I actually really like is you ground me and rein me in and remind me of that. And there's not a lot of people who can do that because they haven't walked where you walked, haven't been through what you've been through to be like, none of this matters.
One of those moments actually sticks out to me was when you were supposed to go to a strategic coach and your family needed you.
Yeah.
And you actually said the hell with strategic coach and you stayed home for 2 days with your family because they needed you.
Yep. I don't think I'd have been able to do that. I think work was that was a test from God to be like, where's work really in your priorities here?
Yeah.
And relative. And before I would have failed every time.
Yeah. And that's just like the awareness that you talked about, right?
Mm-hmm.
You had the awareness to go, I gotta be here.
Yep.
I can't do that right now. Even though it was scheduled. You said no.
Yeah, and a flight and everything. So that was the crazy part where like somehow like flights become super important in your mind, right? Because you paid for this ticket.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably not refundable. Whatever your mind comes up with for excuses.
It's just money.
It's just money. It's just like you'll never get the time back. And had I left, I guarantee you the mess to clean up would have been giant. As big enough as it was.
Right.
But yeah.
Family needs you. You gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on.
Thank you.